So we just got back from the Missouri Homeschool Convention 2024. Went there last year, had a good time. This year, had a good time also. We got there, and it was very apparent. The line was coming out the door for check-in about an hour before or a half hour before things started. And I made the observation that, wow, there's a lot more people here this year than there was last year. And then my perception of that sort of changed over the weekend as we were there, and it seemed like there were less people. I think that may have been for a couple reasons. I think a lot of people wanted access to the curriculum floor where all of the curriculum is sold and talked about, and maybe not some of the speakers or vice versa. I'm not sure. One of the top speakers was not there this year, Sarah McKenzie, who a lot of you homeschoolers I'm sure are aware of. Great speaker. She was there last year. I really enjoyed her talks. But she got sick at the last minute and couldn't make it. And so I think a lot of people come to see her. And when they realized she wasn't going to be there, they bailed. Or some people didn't stick around as long. The other thing was they had a lot of other great speakers. Obviously, Andrew Pudawa, who was there last year, always a great speaker. A lot of you people know him. And then John Lovell from Warrior Poet Society, which was a very different angle than what you probably see at this convention in the past and probably other homeschool conventions. Being Warrior, he's a former Army Ranger. I got to have a picture with him with me and my boys, got to hear his talks, and I'll do probably a separate video on his talk and also a separate video on Andrew Pudawa. He had a great, fantastic talk as well. Anyway, all that to say, it seemed like the crowds kind of diminished, and I think a lot of people, once they got to listen to maybe John a little bit, the warrior poet, I think that, listen, let's be honest here. We live in a very soft culture. It's easy to get our feelings hurt. We don't have a real grounded view of reality, anymore. And I think when you have someone like John who comes in and speaks truth and speaks reality and tells people the way things really are, they get offended by that. It invades their softness, and it doesn't feel good. So I think I was surprised. I thought he would have, I think his first talk that I went to, we had a lot more people than subsequent talks. And I think that's because there's that segment of homeschooling that is very crunchy and soft, and they do this because they just want to give their kids a better, a better opportunity for education. But why are you doing that? Why do you think this is a better opportunity? I think a lot of people don't realize the situation we're in our education system here in America. And that's what I want to talk about today. The 3 reasons why we homeschool, 3 reasons why you must homeschool. There's no denying this anymore. There's no alternative for you. Every year not every year. I don't go every year. I went last year and this year. But there's always a class for single parents. And it was the same teachers they had, or same lecturer that they had last year. And she makes the point, which I completely disagree with, that, you do you. If there are times and seasons for every family. And if you need to send your kids to public school, that's not the wrong answer. No, I disagree. It's absolutely at this point the wrong answer. Public schools are cesspools. Three reasons why you must homeschool, okay? And understand why homeschooling has gotten so popular in the last couple of years. Number 1, during the pandemic, we all saw that the bar was set way too low for our kids. And the parents who are switched on saw that and were like, oh my goodness, no, this is horrible. My kids are never going to succeed if the bar is set this low. They're not going to be a product that I want them to be after 12, 13 years of education. And the second reason why a lot of people jumped on the homeschool bandwagon after the pandemic is because once all of those kids came home to do that homeschooling during the pandemic and the schools were closed, the parents for the first time saw the curriculum. They were like, this is what they're teaching you? Not only is the bar set so low for success, but the curriculum is absolutely horrible. This is nothing like what I went to school for. This is not going to produce excellence. This is not going to produce success. And so people in droves said, you know what? I'm done with the school system. In fact, there was a woman in line I was talking to when we were waiting for registration when I first got there. She's like, yeah, I have one out and I'm getting ready to pull the other one out and I'm hoping maybe I can finish the year. But the schools are a mess. And so those two reasons are why so many people said, you know what? I'm done with the public school system. I'm done with even private school. And I want to homeschool. I want to take that responsibility on for myself. Now, here's the three. That's why everything is the way it is right now. But here's the three reasons why I want to talk to you about why. There is no alternative. You must homeschool at this point if you really care about your children. Number one, the curriculum. The curriculum that's being put out and used by the public school systems is basically government controlled. It's a government edict. This is what the Department of Education sends out an edict. This is what you will teach your students. Because your school takes federal funding, you will learn this. Or they give you options to make you feel like you have some choice. But we have this. You can choose from the things we give you to teach from. And none of these options have a biblical worldview. None of these options live in reality of actual what's taken place throughout history. And so these are the options. And parents like me are like, those options all suck. I don't want any of those options. They're all absolutely horrible. That's reason number one, the curriculum. The curriculum is absolutely horrendous. It will not produce success. If you care about the future of your child and the excellence that you want them to bring to their lives and to their future families, you cannot be putting this type of curriculum in front of them to learn and call that education. If you do,
you've been living in a dream world, Neo.
The second reason, teachers. We all know, okay, there's some good teachers out there. There are some good teachers out there. God love them. But we all know the vast majority of teachers in our education system today lean left. And some of them lean very hard left, like derangement syndrome left. They want your kids and they want you to know and understand their sexual behaviors and sexuality. The teachers have screws loose. You cannot be you don't want your kids in front of you being taught by these people. Because even if they stick to the curriculum, which is absolutely horrible, they're putting all of their ideology, their worldview in that curriculum when they explain it to your kids. The curriculum is horrible. The teachers lean left, sometimes very, very far left. And you're going to have very far left leaning teachers at some point who come into contact with your kids. And I'm sorry, that's like putting your kids on Epstein Island. Literally, I'm not going to do it. You shouldn't either. I don't want my kids exposed to that sort of nonsense. I can expose them to the dangers of the world without putting them into the giant, alligator pond. I can stand from the bank and be like, see, kids, look at those alligators. You don't want to swim in there. And this is why. Because you see these other people getting chewed up and taken down under the water by the alligators. I don't want that to be you. I don't have to get into the alligator pond to show them how dangerous the alligator pond is. I can watch from the bank. And there's a whole bunch of alligators out there. Yeah, there's some other good things in that pond too. But the vast majority of that pond is filled with man-eating alligators. That's the best analogy I can give you. All right, reason number three. Reason number three why you cannot be putting your kids in school is you have the curriculum, you have the teachers, and you have the other children. Okay, see, you as a parent are switched on. You have seen that the bar is set very low. You have seen that the curriculum is subpar. It's not a good curriculum. But see, there's a whole bunch of other parents out there, God love them, that don't see what you and I see. And so those kids go home every day to parents who are not switched on. They're only worried about the things of the world. They're only worried about their own, small little bubble of concern. They don't care what their kids watch on TV. They don't care what their kids are watching on their devices. They don't care what their kids are doing. And see, but you care. You care. And now you're sending your kid to a school to associate with a bunch of kids who have parents who don't care. And now their influence is on your child. That's the nail in the coffin. That's strike three and you're out. You have the curriculum that's horrible. You have teachers that lean far left for the most part, some hard left. And now you have kids, some of them who have this horrible influence at home, who don't mind, who have parents who don't mind their kids are involved with all this. And some of them lean as hard left as the teachers or even more so. And now they're influencing your kids. They're trying to make friends with your kids. They're trying, sometimes, I see all the time. I see all the time these a lot of them are Christian pastors and Christian parents who are like, well, I'm sending my kids to be a light to the dark world. And I want them to be able to share the light of, your kids aren't mature enough for that task yet. Your kids don't have the fortitude yet to stand in the wake of peer pressure and some of these other influences that are out there. Because the world is glitz and glamour. It's meant to draw you in. And they don't have the fortitude to stand up against that yet, especially not at the younger ages. Some of them, teenagers, yes, if they're well-founded. But why? Why do that when there's a better alternative at home? The curriculum is horrible. The teachers, for the most part, are horrible. And the kids are questionable at best because their parents aren't switched on. They don't care. And now your kids are being influenced by their kids. And all the glitz and the glamour that those kids are inundated by is now rubbing off on your child or has the possibility to do so. That brings me to this point. Every year at this event, there is a class for single parents, and I'm a single dad, okay? It's usually not very many people who show up at this thing, okay? And so it's always, people ask, well, how can a single parent do it today? I have work to do. I have to do work. I have to provide, and pay the bills, and how am I going to do this? Guys, there are so many homeschool curriculum options these days. It's not even funny. We didn't have what we have today 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I mean, even from the time I went last year to this year, they have this huge room where they have all of this curriculum lined out and all these providers of curriculum. It's even expanded and more advanced than it was last year. And last year was phenomenal. You have so many options. And listen, computers are a way of life. There's some homeschool curriculums out there where like, oh, I'm not going to use computer stuff for my homeschool curriculum. I don't want that in my kid's life. Okay, fine. There are those out there. But the reality is we have computers in our life. Our kids are going to learn they're going to have to learn to know how to use computers and how to navigate, different software programs. Okay. And so there are so many things out there today. Like today, I have a curriculum that I've put together from Bob Jones University, teaching textbooks, and Apologia. Okay, and then I have one that I'm using for foreign language, completely different. So I have like 4 different things that I'm drawing from to put together a curriculum, and all of them are accessed online. All of them are practiced online or with an app with my phone. Okay, I can oversee, a dashboard and see everything that my kids are doing and how they're progressing, what their grades are getting, what things need to be graded, what things, whatever. I can see all of that. They make it very simple for single parents to do this. Don't use the excuse that you're a single parent and you can't do it. You can. You must. At this point, you must. If you care about the success of your kids, you cannot keep them in these cesspools. If you decide to do that, if you decide to keep them in, hey, that's your choice. That's America. That's freedom. That's liberty. You are free to do that. But for me, oh no. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. Ain't going to happen. What do you think? Leave a comment below. Guys, if you are a single parent or if you know someone who's a single parent and they're struggling with this, there are options out there. You just have to go out and explore the options. You don't know what's out there until you go out and see what's out there. But they make this very simple. Okay, you can make it as complex. My late wife, Jamie, put everything together Charlotte Mason style. Everything was a la carte the way she wanted it. It was when I looked at this after she had passed away in 2019, I was like, I can't do this. I don't know where to begin. And so I had to go out and search for other options. Putting them in public school was not going to be an option. But trying to figure out something that I could, navigate and then be able to use and monitor, there are plenty of options. We used to use Liberty. That was a good system. I didn't like the way their math was. My kids didn't like their math. You're going to try different curriculum and your kids are going to be like, I like this part. I don't like this part. And so you can go through and still try to do a la carte on some things and have a great outcome. The reality is, even if you half-heartedly put this together, they're going to get a better education at this point than what they're going to get at the public school system. So that's just the reality of the world we're living in at this point. Don't doubt me on this. What do you think? I'm interested in your thoughts. Take heart. If you're a parent and you're struggling with this, you can make this happen. If you're a two-parent household and you both have jobs and you're like, how am I going to do this? Or if this is something that just seems above my pay grade, you'll regret it later if you don't. I'm telling you right now, you're going to regret it. At some point, the influence of the enemy is going to come into your kids and they're going to take them away. They're going to steal their heart. And I don't care how much foundation you have at home. I don't care how much you have, taught them by your own. They're getting more time with their friends and teachers at that cesspool than they're getting with you because you're busy. You have things to do. You're a parent. You need to take the time to put your kids first. And you will appreciate that down the road. It will be an investment that pays off. There is no excuse, in my opinion. And I know some people are going to think I'm harsh. I don't care. You can leave a comment below and tell me how horrible of a person I am and how just unreasonable that all of this is. Okay, fine. That's fine. I have broad shoulders. I had drill sergeants in the military that said horrible, horrible things to me. Whatever you have to say will just bounce off me like Teflon. Don't matter. But I'm okay. I want you to have your opinion. I'm just telling you mine. I probably won't go back to this next year. I really enjoyed the couple years I got to go to it. There are a bunch of other homeschool conventions. I want to be able to set up a perfect pickler table at some of these at some point and talk about those products. I think homeschoolers would really get into that. And so we're going to try to find some new ones. But this was great. I think it's fantastic. You should go at least once. They have these in different cities. This company is called Great Homeschool Conventions. They have them in different cities. There's probably been one near you. Go check it out and see the curriculum that's offered and that's available out there today. Most people don't know what they don't know. It's up to you to go out and learn. So, all right. Let me know what you think. See you next time at the Homestead. Bye. Have you ever gone to a health food store and seen all those small bottles of probiotics in your cooler section? Man, can they be pricey. Are you really getting all you need to improve your gut health from those expensive bottles? How viable are they? Most of those products claim to give you between 8 and 15 strains of gut-healthy healing bacteria. Think of each strain of bacteria as a different factory in your gut. Each factory is responsible for breaking down that food in its own way. The more factories you have, the more the food is broken down and the easier the food is absorbed and digested by the body. A 2018 study published by the National Library of Medicine shows that one fermented head of cabbage can produce up to 114 strains of beneficial bacteria. That's a lot more food factories than you're getting from that expensive pill bottle. And that's just cabbage. Imagine the probiotics when you add garlic, onions, pepper, and more to that ferment. PerfectPickler.com and its home fermentation kits provide you with everything you need to get started making your own gut-healthy food factories from the comfort of your own kitchen. PerfectPickler.com even provides a jam-packed recipe book with many of our kits. Visit PerfectPickler.com and start fermenting your own veggies to begin your journey to better gut health. That's PerfectPickler.com. Hey guys, did you know you can become a patron of an American Homestead? They get access to private videos, and we send them gifts from the Homestead that we make here on the Homestead. And we also enter our patrons into special giveaways that are only available to them. And before you go, please check out these other great videos. Go ahead, click. Oh wait,